ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ ऐं गणेशाय नमः। ॐ ऐं सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ ह्रीं क्रीं गोपीजनवल्लभाय श्रीकृष्णाय नमः। ॐ गुरुपरम्पराय नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। Dozens of questions were there regarding last class. I will not mention their names. Record. You know, dozens of questions. And the main theme of the question is, what is the problem if we love our beloved one? The theme of the question was that beloved one may be son, daughter, or husband, boyfriend, girlfriend. So I told them that, okay, I will take your questions first, then I will proceed, because a lot of things are to be discussed in Sutra number 24. I will not start from the first of 24. I know where I stopped. So Sutra number 24 is Nasti eva tasmin tat sukha sukhitvam. That in worldly love, there is one thing is present, absent, that if my beloved one is happy, that is the ultimate, that is the only parameter of my love. That is the meaning of that sutra. That I don't need my happiness, my pleasure. Whom I love, if he or she is happy, that is the highest parameter of this divine love. So now they asked the question that gopis, am I audible? Yes. So the thing is, they started comparing with gopis' love, because they used to love Krishna not as Supreme Brahman, but as a person. And that is the main essence, you know. Naiskarma is the ultimatum of any karma yoga. That sense of doing work is the ultimatum of karma yoga. So karma yoga doesn't never tells that you don't do anything else, become actionless or something like that. Karma yoga never says. Karma tyag, the rejection of any work, means sense of doership and sense of enjoyership. That मैं करता हूं, मैं भोगता हूं, मैं भोग कर रहा हूं, मैं कर रहा हूं. That sort of idea or wrong notion completely goes in karma yoga, and that karma yogi is fit for jnana yoga. So the thing is here, devotees who are the actual devotee, that where Shankaracharya ji, Bhagavan Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya ji has told, Swa Atma Anusandhanam Bhakti. Bhakti is nothing but self-inquiry. Means finding myself in the beloved one and being one and being one. So that knowledge says everything else. As example, that if an astronaut goes to honeymoon with his wife, where they will go? They will go to Darjeeling. Good. And there is very attractive point is enjoying sunrise in Tiger Hill. An astronaut who verily knows that there is no rise and no fall of the sun, yet he goes with his wife along with all people, and they clap, they enjoy, they blow their something else. Oh, what a beautiful color. So knowledge matters everything else. They enjoy more. Who knows the intrinsic nature of love, they can enjoy more than other worldly people. So the thing is it attachment or not? The thing is, again, non-dual Vedanta, I have to say, why we get attached with anything else. If we go back to Yaksha Prashna in Mahabharata, that what is the most mysterious thing in this world? सबसे आश्चर्य वस्तु क्या? Now people see every day that people are dying. They know it is indispensable, yet for himself or herself, they believe that we will live forever. So the thing is, that sort of wrong notion creates attachment. For any sorts of attachment out of ignorance of the particular thing. You know, some of the Western listeners, they asked me the question, what do you think? You all Indians are only knowledgeable and we are all ignorant. So this is not the question. The here ignorance means ignorance about the particular subject matter. The person may be an astronaut, a scientist, a doctor, an engineer, or very, very educated person. But the subject matter of Vedanta, they are ignorant of that. That I wanted to mean. So they are very knowledgeable and wise in the worldly matter. But Vedanta discusses about here the subject matter is not objective subject. Here the subject matter is the subjective subject. And we are ignorant of that, irrespective of Indian, Canadian, American. That ignorance is a common ignorance. So the thing is, in our worldly love, Atma Sukham gets priority. Atma Sukham doesn't mean that Sukham of Atma. Here, Atma means that Jivatma, the ego. The satisfaction of self-ego is the key factor in the worldly love. So, but that is the game maker here. In Parabhakti or in supreme love, the spiritual seekers rejects his or her own pleasure and own happiness also. He is happy by loving. He or she doesn't need anything else in return. He is happy in loving. Now, I don't need anything else. I don't need physical comfort, mental comfort, intellectual comfort. I don't need all healthy atmosphere around me, physical, mental, economical, social, spiritual. A real lover doesn't bother for that. He or she is happy only by loving. That is the key factor over here. That is the key difference here. And that lover, boy on guard, his key factor is to make others happy. That is the aim in divine love. Now they ask me, is it not possible if I put my husband or boyfriend or my son or daughter, bhakti yoga is possible or not? I studied a lot of books after that, and all the bhakti acharyas are telling verily possible, but the condition is only one, that the son is not the flesh and blood, he is divine, boyfriend is divine, husband is divine, wife is divine being. But in common in world, it starts with that. If you ask some new lover who have started their love journey, they will quote so many things as if Upanishad you are learning, that my happiness is nothing, his happiness or her happiness is. But slowly, when we become content and we get some contradictory things what we don't like, the negative force started. We become confused, we become uh, sad, shocked, and slowly hatred comes. You know better than me regarding this matter. So in divine love, there is an apparent starting, because the devotee who did not have any idea, so he will start it, though there is no starting, because what anyone asks, that what is Brahman, that Brahman is love alone. Brahman is love alone. And where there is no starting, no ending. Without knowing that it is sugar, if we eat it, it is sugar. And after knowing, if we take sugar, it's sugar only. So knowledge matters. So in that respect, I'm telling that in divine love, the actual love, what is told in sutra, last few sutras, that there is starting point, there is no end, no confusion, no complaint, no shocking, no disappointment, even no demand that the person will care me, love me. It's a high state of love. And with the eyes, with the mind of worldly things, it is really very difficult. And for that, really, in that case, we are very fortunate that we have taken birth in India, where bhakti is very natural. Or the Indians, I have seen in Mumbai, they were our students. Fourth generation back, they went to West Indies. They were Indian. Oh, how much devoted they are staying in that land of enjoyment. Cayman Island, it's a land of only physical pleasure. And students came from that place. And really some Indians will be ashamed to see their devotion. So in Indian blood or Indian land, something is there by which bhakti is our basic instinct. But it is not true that who are not Indians, they will not. Because I have seen many people, Westerners, and they have inculcated devotion and they become so much bhakta. I have read, I have met them personally, that how much love they are having. So the thing is selfishness and selflessness. That is the key factor. So now that person, that lover, is it true? Suppose when a person starts his love journey or her love journey, it is very true that that person is always in our mind, in our eyes. True. Ask yourself, how long does it continue? In Gopi's life, if we see, my Lord Krishna was of a black complexion, like the black cloud. And our gopis, whenever they used to see any black things, only Krishna used to come into their mind. In Bhagavatam, it is there that they are rejecting seeing any black things, and they are telling how can we be divided from you, because the hairs are black, eyeballs are black, eyebrows are black. What a beautiful devotion. In Sri Ramakrishna's life, we saw that once Sri Ramakrishna was passing through a bar, pub, alcohol shop, and people were intoxicated and they started abnormal behavior as if they have forgotten the external world. And Sri Ramakrishna told, see, in bhakti, in supreme love, the same state happens for a lover. And by uttering this word, he went into samadhi, ecstasy. So that sort of mind setup is required in divine love. Yes, in divine love also, me and mine stays. Someone asked me that a lot of devotees asked me that Mirabai wrote a bhajan, मेरे तो गिरिधारी गोपाल दूसरा ना कोई. I have only Lord Krishna. There is nobody else. What is that I? That is not ahankara I. That is not the expression of ego or unripened ego. If that is ego, that is a ripened ego. If the peanuts are fried, it looks originally unfried peanuts. But from fried peanuts, sprout never comes out. If we burn a piece of rope, after burning out wholly, when it becomes ashes, it looks like a rope, but it loses its power to bind. So the I and mine of a real lover, real devotee like Mirabai, Radha, gopis, or other devotees, other great people, sages, that eyes are like fried peanuts. This is not the expression of self-centered mindness. The thing is, who are not introduced with this divine life, yes, it is very difficult for them to grasp that idea. Who are verily body centric, who doesn't go who can't go beyond that gross matter, whose thinking is always confined with the bodily matter, it is very, very difficult for them to understand. To understand this noble thought, noble idea, we need to live a noble life according to scripture says, Guru says. Suppose who wants to get a job into the army and who wants to be a singer, their lifestyle and practices will be completely different. So who really wants to be a lover, that sort of lover, what we are discussing, we need a particular type of lifestyle, a disciplined lifestyle, a regular lifestyle. And according to our lifestyle will not be according to our will, because our will means doing slavery of our ego, doing slavery of our mind, living a life according to Guru, according to scripture, may not be those works or life conducive or satisfactory, self-ego satisfactory. Maybe I don't like that. I completely hate that sort of lifestyle. Who are the hindrance? We think she is responsible, he is responsible. It is our habit, you know. If anything happens, we never take the responsibility on our own shoulder. In every life, in family life, in social life, even in ashram life also, we become very happy to make others responsible for any sorts of failure. I'm not talking about that. For that, surrendering is too much required. Surrendering to the Acharya, to the Guru, your own Guru, and scripture. Surrendering means availability, mentally, physically. That what about he or she will order me? Yes, order me to do. I will do it happily, without murmuring inside, without any complaint inside. That sort of lifestyle, are you ready for that? Then this subject is for you. Then Narada Bhakti Sutra will speak to you. Otherwise, that 9 to 10 is just a spiritual entertainment, nothing else. In Maramya Sadhana, it's very difficult to translate. The sadhana, that spiritual practice, what's basis is love only. There they follow, there they consider whom they are loving, he is a male body. And the whole community, whole mankind, maybe physically they are male, physically they are female, but they consider themselves as Radha or as a female body. And it happens. In our life, the great sages come to show the scripture, to prove the authenticity of the scripture. Once Sri Ramakrishna used to do this sadhana. You know what happened on that time? There were lot of blood, drop of blood in every month in a particular time. Devotees have noticed it. That merging, not only that I am feeling I am a woman, being a woman, mentally, intellectually, and the body is nothing but the product of our mind and intellect, and it converts into womanhood. Sri Ramakrishna's life is the proof of that. So the thing is, but Swami Vivekananda did not encourage that the love of a lover, it is his matam, his thing. Okay. That Radha Bhav he condemned for common in his complete works. And he is writing a very strict letter with harsh words to Swami Sardanandaji. That my dear brother, anywhere in the crossing of the road, if you see people are discussing about the Rasa Leela, as a teacher, beat them left and right. At first, become eligible. At first, become fit for that sadhana. And in many sadhakas I was reading, many bhava, many way is there in bhakti, and everything is fruitful. Like dasya bhav, it is the best way for the starter. When we go to restaurant, starter is there which increase our appetizer. So that dasya bhav, feeling of slavery, slave of my guru, slave of Ishvara, slave of Shastra. Maybe Western people who are listening to that lecture, that slave word conveys some negative thought. It is better servant who served, who serves. So reject this, delete this word from your mind, slavery. Be a servant happily of your guru, of your acharya, of your scripture, of your Lord. Servant means he or she who has no sayings. The Sanskrit word of servant is kimkara. Kim karomi, kim karomi, kim karomi. Always he will ask what to do, what to do, what to do. He is ready, he or she is always ready to serve his or her master, who has no time to see or look after their body, mind, intellect, their own pleasure. They are happy and it is their duty to serve their teacher, their master, their gurus, scriptures, Lord. So Dasya Bhav, the sense of serving with a whole heart, without any grievance, without any murmuring, with a lot of love and feeling blessed that, oh my Lord, I am so blessed that my master has chosen me among all his students to serve. There is no personal opinion, no question that why I am doing, why I will do, why not other students, why you always remember me to do the things. In our ashram life, it's a very common thing. Family life also. Second thing is Sakhya Bhav, Sakhi Bhav, that thinking my beloved one as my friend. Bandhu or Sakha, different. Bandhu means common friend. Sakha means best friend with whom I share everything else without thinking that he will or she will think some negatively about my work, about my all those things. That is Sakhi Bhav, the sense of friendship. Another is Santan Bhav. It's more higher. That my beloved one is my baby, my own baby. Because people have attachment for their wife or lover. It is true. But afterwards, yes, they love their partners. But whenever any children comes or child comes through this partnership, then the center of love becomes that child. For everyone else, just think. For animals also, they choose their partner to procure babies or children. But when that baby comes out, babies come out, the mother animal never allowed the male partner. How much deepest love, because babies are the product of love. Yet the love towards own children is something different. So that is called Santan Bhava. And the highest Bhava is Madhura Bhava. As Radha loved Krishna or gopis loved Krishna. But if we are not eligible enough, we will misuse the concept. And we see in Buddhism, when it was in the last stage, they inculcated Tantra, not real Tantra. And how much they fallen down, Konarak temple or Khajuraho temples are the examples of fallen Buddhism. So for doing anything else, for handling anything else, we have to be eligible first. We have to be qualified enough for that. Guns are there in both hands. One is a terrorist, another is an army or a cop, a policeman. But whenever we see the gun in the hand of a terrorist, we feel insecure. We feel, we become afraid. At the same time, when we see a cop is with the gun or an army man with the gun, we feel secured. The sense of security comes, yes, he or she will protect me, protect us. Because what is the problem? Because a terrorist is not qualified to handle the gun, but an army man is qualified enough to handle this gun. So that is the main theme, that we have to be qualified enough for any marg. If a boy of 20 years old told that I am not a woman, I don't know what is the love of a mother, for him the sense of friendship, or the sense of serving is better. So first we have to be qualified enough. When the knife is in the hand of a surgeon, it gives life. If the same knife is in the hand of a cook, he cuts the vegetables and fruit and feed us. If the same knife is in the hand of a terrorist, you know that. So the thing is, we have a lot of choice. Not the single thing Narada has described. We have a lot of options. We know very well what will suit me. And it's better to ask from acharyas or guru who has already walked this path. They can guide. If anyone wants to be a big thief, big smuggler, he needs a guru. And this is the supreme path where we will meet ourselves, where we will discover ourselves, our actual intrinsic nature. We must need a guide. We must need a guide. Because there is a problem in self-made person. Self-made person is good, but the problem is a subtle ego generates that I don't need anyone else. I have created all such things, all my wealth, all these things, everything, all the prosperity is created by me. So I'm not telling that submissiveness in mind is the first, and but vidya dadati vinayam jati patratvam. So vidya, that is actual knowledge, that is actual love, which gives us humility. Vidya dadati vinayam jati patratvam. Patratvat dhanamapnoti dhanat dharma tata sukham. So the first line we will take, that is vidya. In Upanishad says, sa vidya ya vimuktaye. That is, we can call vidya or knowledge or wisdom, which makes us liberated, which makes us free from all sorts of bondage, all sorts of negativity. Sa vidya ya vimuktaye. And another Suvasitani, vidya dadati vinayam. What is the lakshana, symptoms of a knowledge person? his humility, vinaya, humbleness. How humble. Who loves me? If I love him or her, there is no credit. Who doesn't love me? I know who always propagates negative thing about me. In her or his mind, who always wants to harm me. Do I have that courage to love this person? That is Vinaya. That is actual love. That love is talked over here. The next topic is a completely different topic and interesting topic. So I don't want to enter because I am feeling little trouble in sitting. Since last 2 days I am a little bit sick. So if you allow me, if you permit me, then I can finish this class over here.
Sure, Swamiji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om Swamiji.
If anyone has questions regarding this, because here one topic is completely over. From Sutra 24, some different topic will be discussed.
Pranam,
So,
Swamiji.
pranam, pranam.
Pranam Swami.
If
Pranam,
anyone has
Swamiji.
any question, please ask me. I am ready to.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवति सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय ॐ आविराविर्मयेधि ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. Pray to God as we can continue our journey, as no hindrances come in this journey of devotion. No physical problem becomes the obstacles in our this path. Hari Om Tat Sat.